Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Mebois Podcast, episode 11, the big 1-1. My name is Josh. My name is Josh.
And my name Ray.
The big goings-ons is the is the Endgame. Yeah, I can't talk this morning. But yeah, so Endgame. Everybody's talking about Endgame, and I'm sick of it. No, but you saw Endgame, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So I don't follow any of this, but I know you saw it, and people have been talking to me about it.
Yeah,
what did you think?
I fucking loved it, dude. Throughout the movie, I was like, I won't lie, I was basically crying throughout the entire movie.
Fun note there. Actually, someone we both know, she told me that she cried 4 times during the movie. To be fair, the movie's 3 hours long?
Yeah, it's a 3-hour movie, so 4 is probably not enough, honestly. Did you hear about that woman in China who watched the movie and cried so much?
Cried so much that she died.
No, cried so much she started hyperventilating and had to go to the hospital.
Oh, yeah, I mean, that's sort of expected, isn't it? Like, people are, like, fucking obsessed.
Yeah.
That's funny, though, in China.
Yeah.
I guess I never really thought about the global reach of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Well, I think a lot of studios now, I think if you really want your movie to sell, you gotta market it to China.
If anything, this is great news. This is great news for them. China likes it.
No, but yeah, like throughout the movie, like every time there was a scene with some sort of emotion, if it was happy or sad or whatever, I was feeling, man. I was really into the movie. I think Infinity War, not as much when it comes to the consequences they face, because as we all know, like half of the characters faded away.
Right.
But it didn't really hit anything for me, just because a lot of the characters that went away are new characters, so you know they're actually going to come back.
Mm-hmm.
So immediately my thought is, all right, so the real repercussion, the real consequence is going to go back on the core guys, the core 6 characters. And so really for me, this was the movie with the consequences.
Well, yeah, I imagine the emotions in a lot of ways are driven by this being the final movie in that series.
Yeah, for sure. That's a huge part of it. I think what I will say, without spoiling it for anyone possibly listening, is that sometimes when we talk about fan service in movies, it's sort of a negative thing.
Yeah.
This whole movie, there's a shit ton of fan service, but it's awesome. It really works. A lot of the fan service really, really works in this movie.
So all the Avengers like turn around and they say, "And thank you, the viewer."
Not necessarily that, but the main credits at the end. So not where the names are just sort of rolling down, where you have the main cast and they all have their character next to their name.
I know what credits are.
The core 6, they all have their signatures on their credit.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a nice little touch. So yeah, it's 11 years of
Is that
this
one of the moments
storyline.
you cried? You saw their signature.
No, that part was all right. That part was more nostalgia. A lot of the movie is nostalgia. I mean, it's 11 years. So what? The first movie came out, I was 13. So yeah, I think that's where a lot of the emotion comes from.
Right.
But no, I think if the MCU were to end with that movie, if that was it, I would be completely satisfied with that. Very happy with that.
Do you think they'll stick to it?
No, they're definitely going to stick with it. I mean, Brie Larson has a 7-movie contract. They just casted.
7 movies.
Well, when I say
What
7
has
movies,
she been in 2?
she's been in 2. So by 7 movies, any sort of appearance really, apart from like when they appear in someone else's end credit, I think that doesn't count. But
Does
like,
Unicorn Store count as an appearance?
like no, the guy who plays Spider-Man, Tom Holland, he signed a 5 or 6 movie contract. Or that shared contract that the MCU and Sony have for Spider-Man. So actually the next Tom Holland Spider-Man movie coming out in June is apparently the last one on the agreement. Or something like that. I might have that wrong, but it's definitely, I definitely read that it's the last MCU Tom Holland movie. He might switch over to Sony after that, I'm not sure.
So really, the Endgame is just the end of that plot line.
It's the end of the Infinity Stone plotline.
Right. And also like the end of like all the crossover sort of.
No, I don't think it is.
At least in that capacity. Or?
Maybe in that capacity. I know they're going for more of the cosmic stories after the Endgame.
Isn't this pretty cosmic?
Yeah, but I mean, like, so, you know, Captain America not cosmic, Iron Man not cosmic. The next movie they're coming out with, or the movie they're casting now, is for the Eternals, which I'm not familiar with at all.
Mm-hmm.
They casted Angelina Jolie, big name. Obviously,
it used to be a big name at least.
Yeah, true. I mean, like Captain Marvel, it looks like she's gonna be more of a cosmic hero rather than a Earth hero. A lot of rumors about the new villain potentially being Galactus.
Well, that would make sense.
Yeah, so it's interesting to see where they're gonna go from here and whether or not people care as much after this storyline's over with their favorite characters no longer being at the forefront.
Right. Is Galactus the one who's just like a nebula?
Yeah, he's like the
just
planet
like
eater.
Floating. Yeah.
He has
energy.
He has the Silver Surfer do a lot of his work for him.
I thought the Silver Surfer was a good guy.
He starts off as like a bad guy or something like that. He works for Galactus. He has to find him planets for him to consume. But he has a change of heart, something like that.
Wait, who's the X-Man I'm thinking of? Iceman. I always get mixed up with Silver Surfer.
I mean, when Iceman is
wait a minute.
when he's fully iced out, he kind of looks like that, and he does like sort of surf around.
Yeah. No, he definitely surfs around. He has a surfboard and everything. So I was like, wait a minute, X-Men good guy.
Well, that's another thing too. Like, so maybe the crossover stuff, it could be done, but you know, the MCU has all the rights for X-Men now. So, are they going to? Is that all going to be in the same universe? Is it going to be separate?
Never have I believed in separate but equal more than when it comes to Marvel. No, it's just like, I don't know. I think it really, I mean, I'm not usually a fan of this sort of thing in general, as I've said maybe about 20 times on this podcast. But,
and another 100 outside of the podcast.
Oh, yeah, probably more than that. But, what was I saying? Oh, but yeah, nothing discourages me more from watching these types of movies is the fact that it's like a million things combined that I'm all not familiar with. So it's just like, okay, it was just like one thing I wasn't familiar with. Okay, but then it's like, okay, but there's also this and that. Well, I watched the first
Guardians
of the Galaxy, yeah, and that's about my extent of experience.
Well, what I'd say to that is, I think like Kevin Feige and the rest of everyone at Marvel Studios, they've done a really good job at making these unknown characters really popular with everyone else, like Guardians of the Galaxy, because I mean they were scraping the bottom of the barrel there.
Oh yeah, I mean before the movies came out, nobody fucking gave a shit about them.
No, and even to an extent, the four characters that started the MCU. I mean, Iron Man wasn't the most popular Marvel character. The first Captain America movie, he was still kind of seen as boring, but the Russo brothers changed that with the second Captain America movie. Thor, people always referred to him as boring. Hulk was probably more of the popular ones, but everyone always messed up the movies, his movies. It's hard to make a good
he's the
Hulk
boring
movie.
one.
What'd you say?
I said, now he's the boring one.
Who, Hulk?
Yeah. Didn't they do something weird with Hulk in this one? They I don't want to spoil when I don't even fucking watch it. But
They do something weird, but yeah, I think explaining it would be a minor spoiler, nothing major.
I don't want any fans to Hulk out on me,
What I will say is at a certain point in the movie, I'm watching it and I'm like, it really felt like an animated comic book movie just with real people, and it made it so much better for me. Like it felt like exactly what you would watch as a kid, but
right.
on such a grand scale. And I mean, I don't think it'd be an overstatement to say that this movie is probably the biggest film event ever.
So, do we know that like numbers wise, or are you just talking like
numbers
the
wise?
Concept?
Numbers wise, it is getting to that point. Let me see. I mean, on the sense like as an event, like people waiting 11 years for one story to conclude in 21 movies or 22 movies, whatever it is. So it's already broken a box office record. Biggest global opening already.
Just in general for a movie?
Biggest global opening for a movie ever. Biggest domestic box office opening for our opening day, surpassing Star Wars Force Awakens. And it's on course to beat opening weekend. Biggest pre-seller for Marvel. I mean, AMC Theaters said that they had several locations that would stay open for 3 days straight. All 72 hours just open.
Is that uncommon?
Apparently, I think they're supposed to close once after like 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. whatever the final showing is. So they have like showings at like 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning.
That would be such a weird time to watch a movie.
Now on the radio here, people here like the first showing of the day I think was 4:30 or 5 in the morning.
I'd have to really like a movie
to go that early.
Okay, yeah, but yeah, I mean, the thing is, I feel like they're just gonna want to try to top that.
I mean, yeah, for sure. But it's gonna be tough. I feel like just because a lot of these, if they do go in the direction of these cosmic characters, a lot of these cosmic characters are unknown to most people.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I don't know the Eternals. I didn't know the Guardians of the Galaxy, but now I love them because of what they do. So if they do it right, it could. But I don't know if these next movies probably are just a little less grounded. And I think since the Avengers did have human characters, it probably does make you more worried about who comes out of it alive or not.
So the Eternals aren't humans?
I don't believe so. Yeah, anyway, so I'm curious to see how the MCU goes on from here. Whether they are going to fully go on to cosmic characters. If that's their main focus for more of the crossover stuff, if they still do crossover stuff, that'd be fun. But man, like after leaving the theater for Endgame, went home, got home at around midnight, went to bed at like midnight. I had to get up in 3 hours to take my mom to the train station, so I figured I'd get some sleep. But I went to bed at midnight and woke up at 1, still thinking about the movie, and I'm pretty sure I was dreaming about the Avengers.
I mean, fair enough. You were just watching it for fucking 3 hours.
That's true. I had to pee after the first hour.
That was like a common problem people were talking about. I don't know why, because there's been like plenty of 3-hour movies, but especially for this one, everyone was talking about, oh my god, how am I going to last through this one?
Yeah.
It's like, just fucking control yourself.
I went before the movie started, and then an hour in, I'm like, oh god, I gotta go again. I gotta get myself checked out.
just piss into your empty popcorn bucket, dude.
I didn't buy popcorn. We were running out of time.
Oh my god, how did you even enjoy it? I went home and went to sleep, and half an hour later, I woke up with sleep paralysis, and Thanos was at the foot of my bed. He kept snapping at me.
Reality is what I want it to be.
You know, if anything can be said about the MCU, is that a good amount of
Meme.
meme formats. I mean, a lot of them dead now, but a good amount of meme formats come out of it.
That's true. A lot of the Ant-Man Thanos theory.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Thanos' ball sack face.
Oh yeah, his faces inspired a lot of things. I mean, Thanos' car. I always appreciate the pairing of. I feel so fucking old talking about memes like this. Also, I still hate calling them memes, but I just do it for convenience now.
Meme.
Yeah, technically they're pronounced Mimi. The pairing of something else, and then having Thanos. Oh no, it's the other guy saying to Thanos that I lead others to the treasure that I cannot have, or whatever.
Oh yeah, Red Skull, that guy.
Yeah.
A lot when he's talking to little Gamora about what it costs to get him.
Oh yeah, everything. Yeah.
Did you see the one? You see the memes about Duolingo?
Yeah, the Duolingo bird.
Yeah, how it's like kidnapping your family and shit like that. If you're not.
Yeah, I guess they started doing more aggressive reminders, and that's why I never used Duolingo, so I just kind of picked up on the context.
Yeah, so there's a meme with Thanos and little Gamora, but they have the Duolingo logo on Gamora's face, and she asks him if he finished studying Spanish or something like that, and he's like, "Sí," and then she says, "What did it cost?" And he says, "Mi familia."
So that's like a weird mashup.
It is. But I thought it was really funny. Just because suddenly I had to accept the fact that Duolingo was kidnapping people, because I'm not familiar with the app.
Right. Yeah.
So I just sort of had to accept that information as fact.
That's one of those ones where an article comes out and it'll be like, millennial humor is strange and cryptic.
I think that's the exact meme they were talking about when I saw that article about with strange millennial humor.
Oh man, there's never been a better time to laugh, man. I'll tell you what. But that was what I wanted to ask you. So could you see a scenario where the MCU just fails after this?
I mean, fails outright? Probably not. But in like,
how many bad movies would it take?
I think it would take a few bad movies for people to lose faith in the MCU. I think
they just come out with like 4 Captain America movies in a row.
I just think mostly because they have a good track record, so I think that earns them some good faith.
and money in the banks.
Right. Um, for the most part, everyone likes everyone else who's on the cast. I think Brie Larson is the only one that people seem to split their opinion on.
Yeah.
But if she is supposed to be the new leader, then that does make a big difference.
Mm-hmm.
So
is that thing. She's sort of like the leading character now.
I think that's the idea. She's supposed to be the one that they pass the torch to. I know they've sort of talked about it in interviews. Interviewers are straight up saying, like, what's it like having the torch passed down to you? And there are people
What
like
does she say?
people really looking into how everyone else on the cast interviews with her, what the
Oh yeah, I've seen a lot of videos about that.
the body language shit. I don't know. She says, I mean, basically, she says the typical stuff you say when you're asked a question like that. It's exciting. It's blah 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 blah.
It's very exciting, but I'm also a little scared. Just use that answer for fucking everything.
Yeah, basically. So we'll
Love
see.
the fans though.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
So speaking of dreams, and lack of sleep, these past couple nights, I told you a little bit, but I've been having these weird dreams again. A while ago, this is a callback to an earlier episode. I'm not sure which one, but I had the nightmare blanket, and
One of our
was
earlier
that
episodes, I think.
yeah, it was that hot ass blanket, and like every time I had it on me when I fell asleep, I'd wake up drenched in sweat, and I had a fucking crazy ass nightmare. Now I guess I have like the loneliness blanket, because I keep on dreaming about imaginary women. I just wake up covered in cum.
Wait, what kind of blanket is this?
What kind of cum is this? But it's just like a body pillow. I'm joking.
Body pillow with like this anime girl.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah. No, thankfully I've never owned one of those, even ironically.
Can you imagine owning one ironically? No, I just have this for a joke.
Well, I think a lot of people do take that route. They're just saying like, oh, it's like a funny thing, but it's still like, well, you still own it, dude.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm not here to judge losers. But no, it was weird. Like, so the first one I had, it was like 2 days ago. I remembered all the details then, but now I don't remember all the details. But basically, I think I was hanging out with you, and there were like 2 girls, one other guy, I think, and we got done doing what we were doing or whatever. So we got into an Uber, and we were heading out, and so basically, trying to find a way to condense this. So one person gets dropped off, and so we're like shuffling seats because someone's going to sit in the front.
Yeah.
And so at first you're like, oh, you can sit in the front. And this girl, this imaginary girl, is sitting in the back with me. And you're like, oh, you can sit in the front. I'll just sit in the back. And I'm like, okay. And then,
oh, I said that to you?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so like, she has to switch seats too. So she climbs over me in the back seat.
Uh-huh.
And she like gives me this look.
And you
and
come.
I fucking come all over my blankets. And I wake up screaming, Mom! Mom! Yeah. And my dog's there, like, looking at me. Actually, he starts barking at my dick. The whole family had come to visit, and they're all standing around my bed. Um, but yeah, no, so that happens, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute. And so like, I don't even roll down the window. You just go to open up the back door to get in, and
Uh-huh.
I just signal you to keep walking to the front. So you sit in the front or whatever. Anyway, so yeah, because I'm a complete degenerate. Even in my dreams, I can't help but make my friends uncomfortable. So me and her were hooking up in the back or whatever. Um, and yeah, we don't need to go into details with that, but I just thought that part was funny. Um, and I think she was like really short. I remember that. I remember getting down on my knee to talk to her. That's a bit weird. Like she was a fully grown woman, but like just physically very short.
So
Um,
what's the proper word now? Midget, dwarf,
a little person.
little person.
It was weird because when like it was kind of a long dream too. Like it
Uh-huh.
felt like a long one. So like a lot of things happened or whatever, and so you almost feel like you get to know somebody who doesn't exist, and then you wake up and you're sort of like, oh, that didn't happen, and I'm never gonna see that person again. That's weird. Um,
Maybe it was you in a different, in a
it's
parallel
just me in a
universe.
wig.
No, that's not what I meant. That's not the
It's just-
direction I was going at all.
yeah, right. That's why I had to get down on one knee because I'm so short. Um,
But if you're hooking up with a little person in the back seat and I'm in the front, I probably can't see what you're doing anyway.
because I'm just completely covering her because she's so small. Um, the Uber driver was like, knock it off back there. No, she wasn't that. She's probably, I don't know, probably like 5 foot.
Okay.
Um, I make it sound like a Lord of the Rings thing. Like I had to get down on a knee to talk to her. Like, you're the bravest of all, Frodo. um, just as a side note, I mean, that's what it made me think of when people were talking about how like they were crying at Endgame or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a 3 hour long movie. I remember because I recently, I think I told you about it, but I recently, well, I guess as in recently, I mean a couple months ago, I rewatched
Lord of the Rings.
the Lord of the Rings trilogy,
Mm-hmm.
and there were some moments in there where I got misty, just all the all the talk of duty and friendship and all that goes along with it, and it's just Boromir succumbing to temptation for the ring, but then in the end sacrificing his life. I'm like, oh my god.
Mm. I rewatched the first one not too long ago, so I saw that scene again.
I was trying to get one of our friends who hadn't seen it before to watch it, and this was a while ago, and we made it like maybe 40 minutes in, and he was like, all right, I'm gonna go to bed. I'm like, oh my god. um,
I got confused. With
Shit, but I was trying to remember what the dream was last night because I just lost it.
Was it also a?
Oh no, well, yes, it was.
Mm-hmm.
I think there was also some girl involved, but that was the earlier part of the dream.
Okay.
It was a lot to do. It was a lot to do with work. Oh yeah, so there was like this big conference going on or something, and so there was a lot of stuff about suits. I don't know what the fuck.
The show.
But anyway, it's yeah, the show, and white collar, um, dude. I don't know why I watched like a season of that at some point.
Is that the one with Matt Bomer?
I have no idea. I couldn't name you a single person from that show.
The
Also, if you
thief,
show me their face,
the guy who's a thief but works with the cops.
maybe. I don't know. I had no interest in the show. I have no idea why I watched as much as I did. But anyway, the part I remember from the stream last night is that at some point I had I was I was teaching a class,
Mm-hmm.
and this was a class that I had taught like all semester, but I just didn't know what I was doing. And so like I was a really bad teacher, and it was on a day where they had someone come in to sit in the class to make sure that I was actually teaching properly.
Uh-huh.
And I was just so nervous because it's one of those things where in the dream, you know, something has gone on in the past in the dream.
Yeah.
So that's how I knew, like, okay, I have no idea what I'm doing for these past classes. I've been doing nothing. And so I was just like standing there at the podium, like looking down at the computer, being like, oh my God, what am I going to do?
Uh-huh.
I think that's around when I woke up. Yeah, a lot of weird anxiety inducing dreams lately.
I told you about my anxiety-inducing dreams, didn't I? It was like I had one week, and then the next week I had a similar one about getting married to people I've never seen before in my life.
Oh yeah.
That was weird. Like, the first time, I think I was getting married to an Indian girl, and it was like an Indian wedding.
Mm-hmm.
Like, best to my knowledge, like what I've seen in movies. I think. And the second one.
Have you ever seen an Indian before?
The second one was like an old lady.
Oh.
Or an older. I don't want to, not like a grandparent or whatever. But they were older. Like,
Fuck me, Ray.
and I remember thinking, like, in the dreams, like, I can't go through with this. I can't go through with this.
Oh, man. That's always, yeah. For some reason, dreams always, like, they'll always put you in scenarios where it's like something's going to happen and it's going to affect the rest of your life.
Yeah.
It's always like, I'm not ready for this, or like, I don't want this, or, yeah, that's the worst. Anyway, I woke up and I was at my wedding. And now I've been happily married.
To my old Indian wife.
Hey, look, man, there are worse things. But just imagine, like, people who actually are, like, getting ready to get married and whatnot. Imagine the fucking nightmares they're having. I imagine if I was about to take on a commitment like that, I'd be having plenty of fucking nightmares while I'm awake and while I'm asleep.
I mean, that's something I can imagine as well. Despite the fact that that's something I do want to get married someday. But, like, the thoughts of, is this the right person? Is this going to last? Is this going to... All those kinds of questions must just dominate once get pretty close.
Oh, yeah. And the answer is always no. It's like, you know, when you got to ask, like, does this girl like me? The answer is no.
At the wedding, you're wondering if she likes you.
Yeah. Dude, that would be me, dude. Like, that's so me. Hashtag relatable. Like,
You just start vlogging. It's so me to do this before my wedding.
It's you just running from the chapel, recording it. It's like, have you ever seen did you ever see those videos of, like, that guy Bunk who would run out from haircuts without paying?
Sounds somewhat familiar.
It's just ignorant shit. But for a while there, I'm sure he's still doing that shit, but, like, for a while there, yeah, this guy would just go in, go to, like, a barbershop, get his haircut, check it out, be like, okay, looks good. And when it's time to pay, he just sprints out, and he's recording the whole thing on, like, I don't know if it was Facebook Live or Instagram Live or something like that. I don't know, but so much so that people actually started recognizing him and would lock the door of the barbershop. So when he tried to run.
See, that's the thing about promoting your crimes.
Yeah. Oh, people are so stupid with that shit. But yeah, that just reminded me of that.
But
yeah, I'll go ahead.
No, it's just, actually you go first because I'd be switching topics.
Okay. No, I was just gonna say, like, That's definitely very much what I do. Just like I would be marrying someone, and I'd be like, well, no, I wouldn't be, but if I was, I'd be like asking my groomsmen, like, do you think she likes me? Like, I'm not sure. I don't know. Like, I sent her a text last night. She didn't respond for like 10 minutes. Like,
And your groomsman just goes, Josh, you both agreed to not text each other until the wedding.
I told her to send me nudes, and she's like, no, I'm getting in my dress. You think she's seeing somebody else? Um, and then, you get a couple of years into the marriage, and then you start asking, do you think she likes me? And then at that point, it's definitely no. That's the sad part. Is like it goes in this. It's like a normal distribution, where you just got that peak, and then it just goes back down. Anyway, feel free to change topics now.
No, I was just gonna say all this wedding talk. It's reminding me of a spat a couple of our friends are going through. I won't go into the details of that.
Yeah.
But that spat reminded me of a story about one of those guys.
Hold on. So,
well,
our conversation reminded you of a spat, which reminded you of one of those guys.
Yeah.
And the situations he's gone through.
Yes.
Just so the audience knows where we are.
Yeah. All right. So, I think it was 2-3 years ago. It was a summer. I think we were already out of class was already out.
Summer of '69. What the fuck was that?
69. No, so he started dating someone, and they were probably.
Was it dating?
No, I guess not. Because if it
That's
was,
the thing. Even that is questionable.
Yeah, I guess they were closer to being.
They were talking.
They were talking.
They were hooking up.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, they were. So, they had gone through some sort of argument, and he really wanted to make up and do a really nice gesture for her. And he's telling this to his friends. I'm not sure if he asked me. I don't think he did ask me. He was asking a couple other people.
Do you remember what the argument was about?
No, that I have no idea.
Okay.
Potentially I do. It could be about what actually escalates the story, but I'll get there. So he's asking, like, oh, what should I do? I really want to do something nice for her. And I think one of them reminds him, like, oh yeah, isn't she like this is gonna sound so stupid the way I'm phrasing it, but isn't she like obsessed with bananas?
Wink wink.
And it was true. A lot of people knew her for like, she would like post about.
They knew her for bananas.
Yeah, they knew her for bananas. There was like, she had some weird sort of obsession with bananas.
Her name was actually Chiquita.
I don't know what that means.
It's like a brand of bananas.
Oh, is it?
I think so, yeah.
So his romantic gesture that he was gonna do, he wanted to give her a bouquet of bananas. I mean, hey, if she's into it, she's into it. And their friends thought it was a good idea. So he, I think the only thing was he didn't tell them the extent of their argument.
Mm-hmm.
So they didn't realize that what he was about to do was going to come off as creepy. So anyways.
She says, if you ever bring me another goddamn banana.
So he goes to her apartment building with the bouquet ready. And she sees him. She opens the door and she's basically like, what are you doing here? I think the argument might have been about how she didn't want him at her place because she didn't want family,
I think you're right.
Family finding out about him. So I think that was the argument. So the fact that he showed up with bananas. It just went bad. So it didn't.
The bananas, you mean?
Yeah, the bananas went bad. So it didn't go the way he wanted. I think the next day, he was like frantically texting me, frantically calling me, saying he was going to be slapped with a restraining order if he did not leave her alone. His response was he wanted to go to her house and talk to her about it.
Why is it always... That's always the response, though, isn't it? For some reason.
It's
like,
weird.
It's like, just let me in. Let me talk to you. It's like, well, obviously they're not going to do that.
He calls me and he's like, no, you can't do that. You know how that would look on my record. I won't be able to get a job, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, so don't go to her house. Leave her alone.
No, but I got to see her.
You're going to make it worse. Dude, it got bad. It got to the point where she got my number and texted me saying she didn't want him over and like she didn't feel safe.
Oh my god.
It seemed a little exaggerated, but I don't know how bad it got. Just one day it was bad. Oh, sorry, one day it was fine, and the next day it was like really bad, apparently. So, I think he finally told those two friends about the details, and they're basically saying like, if we knew this, we would have never okayed your banana bouquet idea.
Hell of a sentence. No, didn't they find that out like pretty soon after? Or am I wrong?
I'm not sure.
Or maybe we just found out.
Maybe. I mean, they definitely didn't know. They definitely gave the okay before finding out. I don't know how soon after they found out that it was. They were just like, yikes.
Yeah.
She's gonna give me a restraining order. I gotta go over there right now.
I gotta go over there and physically stop her from doing it.
But I gave you bananas.
So that's like shoving bananas in her mouth. Look, you like them. Do you eat them with or without the shell?
Man.
Speaking of memes, that's another classic one.
Which one? The shell thing?
Yeah, so it's like you eat your bananas with or without the shell. It's just a bite out of the banana with the peel on it. Or like a fast food hamburger with a wrapper on it. And it's like, do you eat your burgers with or without the shell?
Do it for the meme.
Maybe that's what he was doing. It was all just a big meme.
Maybe.
I don't think so. I mean, it's one of those things where you can identify with a desperation.
Yeah.
But the execution is what's key here. Like, yeah, because I know the feeling. It's like, okay, like you want to clear things up with somebody or whatever, and maybe there's feelings still there or something like that. So I understand, like, wanting to be like, oh, just let me over. I want to talk about it. At the same time,
Don't.
yeah, don't.
Yeah. I was trying to explain to him, like, she's. I think I even said, like, she's threatening you with a restraining order. The first thing you should not do is go to her house. The very reason why she wants to give you a restraining order to begin with.
You just fucking stand outside there menacingly.
With a stereo over your head. Don't you forget about me.
Don't. Just play like a really violent song threatening her.
I always think about that song. Whenever How I Met Your Mother, they had like a fight scene.
Here he goes again.
They created a song for the show. I think it was created for the show. But the song was called Murder Train, and they just go, murder! All aboard the murder train.
Yeah, that's the song he was playing. See, that's exactly the place I don't want to be. And so,
Her apartment.
Yeah. I mean, she was attractive enough, I guess, but
Yeah, she was cute.
I never wanted to give her a banana, if you know what I'm saying. If you pick up what I'm putting down.
You still have your shell or no?
Oh, dude, do you have any shells? Ah, shit, no. Um, it's a bit of a condom joke.
I was going for a circumcision joke.
Oh yeah. Um,
Are you?
dude, it's funny how many conversations we've had about that.
That's true.
Um,
I remember. I remember the first time we had that conversation.
we were surprised, right? Or,
Yeah. I don't remember how it came up. But
I think it was like the four of us.
yeah, the four of us were hanging out. Actually, it was the three of us first, and then the fourth one walked in.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think the other guy had asked me if I was.
Yeah.
And then I assumed you guys weren't. But I was really reserved asking if you were. I was like, you guys aren't, right? And you're like, no, we are. And the
It's like I think we literally high fived.
Oh, yeah. And then the fourth guy walked in, and then we asked him, and he's like, "Fuck no."
Fuck no, that's disgusting.
It's all there, baby.
Good old burrito dick.
Oh yeah, it's also his nickname. Well, not really.
No, not really. He would like it to be, I think.
I think he would.
But yeah, that's always so funny. I don't know. That's such a weird. I'm not about to make this a whole topic, but like, it is such an odd thing. Like, I understand the religious significance,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm also not one of those people who are like, they're like so torn up over being. I mean, literally torn up.
Oh,
No, but like,
the people
there's
who are
literally
like,
like,
why was this done to me without my permission and stuff like that?
yeah, which I understand that part.
Mhm.
Like, it's a bit odd. And obviously, like, female circumcision is looked at in a completely different light.
Yeah, it's very different.
But some people are like just so like they like let it ruin their life or something. It's like, dude,
only your
fuck
dick's
down.
ruined.
Yeah,
Your life's fine. I mean,
Yeah.
female circumcision, I don't think it's even called circumcision anymore. They just refer to it as mutilation, right?
yeah. I mean, fucking circumcision is still mutilation, but yeah, it is. It is a lot more. It's fucking brutal, dude.
It is a lot more frowned upon.
Yeah. It's such a weird thing. I don't know. It's like, why did I just get a message from you saying we recording today?
I sent that before because I sent it on Discord, and then your thing said you were away, so I figured I'd text you.
That's weird. Why did I get it now?
I don't know. I sent that like an hour ago.
Strange. You just sent me a message privately saying stop talking about circumcision. It's just one of those weird things.
I mean, it's like culturally here, it's what's expected.
Well, yeah. I mean, even in America, it very much is a cultural thing.
Yeah.
Even
Okay.
people who aren't really religious.
Yeah, I remember. I'll spare a couple details about what happened with me. I had to
There
go.
was just so much of it because I got a big dick.
I went at like, it was super early in the morning. I must have gone at like 3 or 4 in the morning.
All right, because you went, you got it done when you were like a little bit older, right?
Yeah, I was not a baby. I was in the
Right.
second.
I think
Second.
I think that's fucked up to do it like later on because it's like, because you remember that shit.
Yeah, I have a friend who did it in 6th grade.
I know a guy, or I knew a guy who did it when he was like 18 or something.
He's dead now.
Yeah, complications.
Yeah, no, I was in the 2nd grade. I guess my mom wanted to be like the illusion of choice. Waited until you were in the 2nd grade for you to
Yeah,
pick.
it's like a video game. You got two choices, but you pick one, and then they say, "Don't you want to pick the other one?"
But it happened. Whatever. Come back, and I'm like, I'm wearing a sarong so that my dick's not touching anything. And They open up the sarong in front of all my cousins. All my cousins are girls. And even back then, I'm like,
All my cousins are girls. That's gay.
only my dudes, my boys should be seeing this.
Wait, why were you? Oh, because it's like a family thing there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like, yeah.
They raise up the foreskin and they go, ah! Everybody starts clapping.
One of my, he's not an uncle. He's like, I guess he's my mom's uncle. I think.
Mm-hmm. So like a great uncle.
Yeah, but he's like sort of young. He's not too far from age from her. He was saying, he was like, oh, you should get the foreskin, like put it in a little like jar and make it a little necklace. I'm like, that's fucking gross, dude.
Make it into a necklace.
First of all, I'm 7 years old. Shut the fuck up. But the other weird thing is my classmates remember me going through that because we were all in the second grade.
Uh-huh.
So they remember me going to. I didn't go to school for like the week or 2 weeks.
Come back with a cone on your dick.
I did.
Like a dog's cone.
Not like a dog cone, but like it was like a.
You're trying to scratch at it and you can't.
The doctor had basically like made like a sort of like a tent stand.
You're just walking around with a fucking boner all day. It's cool.
Yeah, dude. I was always worried like the top part of my dick would always just fall off.
That's the scary part, dude. It's like, oh my god, I don't know about this. That shit happens too. Like, doctors fuck up.
Yeah.
It's just like, okay, now I have a son who doesn't have a fucking dickhead. Doc, could you just kill him, honestly?
All his friends are like, hey, dickhead.
And he's like, not me. I was gonna say something. I can't remember what it was. Oh, this just reminds me. Yeah. It was unrelated to that, though. I injected crocodile straight into my dick.
Oh, God.
Just fucking necrosis. I just remember, because I think I thought about this the other night, too. Yeah, because I was looking at, like, I was looking at my surgery scar on my dick. You know, the dick lengthening surgery. Dude, that's wild that they can do that too. Like that surgery where they cut that, I don't know what it is, like a tendon. I don't know exactly what you would call it. They cut that cord that like it makes your dick longer, but you can't get fully hard.
Why would you want that?
So like some porn stars do it. So
That's-
like you basically.
That's why they're
you gotta
basically limp.
Yeah, you got a swinging dick, but like it's like semi-hard. Anyway, no, I haven't gone through with that one yet.
I'd imagine. I'd imagine you'd lose feeling.
I don't know. I'll let you know. But
Next time on Mebois Podcast.
no, but like when I got when I had my surgery, the scar was on my back, so I saw it on my back. So I was just remembering of when I got out of the hospital or whatever. So when I was in the hospital, you know, I had a fucking, I don't think I've talked about this on the podcast, but I had a fucking catheter. Just terrible. Like that's the stuff of nightmares. And it was also heart surgery, so that's relevant to this story. And so
Catheter was for my heart.
went through my dick into my heart valve. Yeah, so, you know, while I was under, obviously they had to have that shit on me. But, you know, after I woke up, after maybe like a day or something, you know, they removed it.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're removing it. I still remember, because you just got a robe on or whatever. And
I thought you were going to say rope.
yeah, it felt like it fucking roped me, pulled out my dick. But yeah, this nurse, you know, just came in and she's like, all right, it's time. This is fucking like, pulled that shit out. And oh my God, that shit stung. I'll never know how people voluntarily do sounding. Yeah, so after I got out of the hospital, it was sort of like, it was like a countdown for how long it was gonna take me to fucking jerk off again.
Oh
It's
yeah.
like,
Wait, how old were you when you had the back surgery?
um, I think I was, like 17 during most of the process, and I think I might have been 18 when the surgery actually happened.
Okay.
Um, so I think I was like, I might have, yeah. The surgery took place after my first year. I'm sorry, after my first semester in college, because I remember I started college at 17,
Mm-hmm.
and then I had the surgery at 18, like in between the two semesters. Um, but yeah, because it's like for a long time, I feel like we should just fucking cut out this whole shit with the circumcision as well. Um, but like, I get like fucking like, well, first of all, for a while there, like jerking off was the last thing on my mind,
Mm-hmm.
because I was just sort of like, I was anemic, and I needed to like go on walks in order to like regain some of my strength. I was like an old man. I'd just like walk around the block and I'd be fucking exhausted. Um, and what?
I'm just imagining like you putting on an old man voice, like, "Oh, what a nice day it is."
Oh, my dick hurts. Um,
When can I jerk off?
I asked in there, dude. I remember I was real into the one. Actually, she was a doctor. She wasn't a nurse. But I remember one doctor. She was real cute. I remember. I think I flirted with her while I was under anesthetic. Um, and flirting doesn't really work when they see you like passed out with your flaccid dick with a tube in it.
Yeah,
Um,
probably not.
and also they probably put like pills up your ass and stuff.
Yeah.
Probably doesn't work
It'd be funny
unless
though,
they're
is,
into that.
you're under anesthetic, and you're saying to the doc, he's like, "Doc, when I can jerk off, I want you to do it."
Dude, just set up a porn scenario. Oh, let me help you with that.
But they have to put an actual catheter in there.
Oh God, no. Oh my God, man. Oh no, I don't want to think about that.
But the thing is, porn stars, they have limp dicks and they've lost feeling, so it's fine.
Yeah. That's why they can sound. Yeah, for a while, but then eventually, so the worst thing about recovery, well, probably not the worst thing, but one of the most painful things was like every morning I'd get fucking morning wood, and that shit would fucking hurt.
I don't even want to imagine it.
Dude, it was awful. And like,
It was awful, let me tell you.
let me tell you, my man, it was not good. Like, I think I couldn't tell like how much of it was like, okay, because I had a heart surgery, and then also I had like a catheter in, so I'm sure that's not helping. So like it just fucking like hurt every time I got a fucking boner. It was like, okay, so every morning guaranteed, and then like throughout the day it might happen. So
The doctor comes in. Oh, hey, doc. Ah!
but at this point I'm out of the hospital. I'm back at my house.
Back jerking off.
Yeah, no, not yet. So, that goes on, and I go a month, and a month to the day after the surgery, I'm just like, that's it.
Ooh, anniversary.
Yeah, dude, that was like the most painful jerk off I've ever had.
Oh, wait. I think you've told me this story.
I think I might have, yeah.
Did you believe?
No, oh God,
Maybe
no,
you haven't
no,
told
no,
me
no.
this story.
No, that was someone else's story.
Yeah.
Dude, do you think it's normal? I got blood in my cum. Oh my God, I would have freaked out. But no, it was just like super fucking painful.
Doc, you've got to see my cum.
Look at this. Throw it in her face.
What's
It's
wrong?
like like that scene from Silence of the Lambs, you know, when she's walking by the jail cell. Um, but yeah, it was just oof. Took me a while to get over that one. But that shit's over.